Greetings, 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 everyone. This is your Sojazzie Home Girl, Jazzie Lane Jones, in the building. We are live in the studio. Now, let me tell y'all something. Production is off for the holidays. So, producer, host, sweeper, laundry girl. I had to do it all today, and I'm gonna tell y'all something. For you guys that keep saying, "Oh, I want to do my own podcast," understand it is work. Okay, it is work to putting it all together and making it work. But we are here. We did it, and I have a special guest in the studio, y'all. Now, before I introduce this wonderful man that y'all see here, because we're live, we're streaming. Before I do all of that, y'all know what I'm going to tell you to do. Please stop what you're doing. Go get your favorite choice of drink. We up in here drinking.
We up in here.
I'm walking by faith, not by sight. What you doing? What you doing? I'm going to do.
I think let your faith be bigger than your fear.
Let your faith be bigger than your fear. We're up here drinking coffee and our teas. So I'm going to tell you right here, right now, go grab your favorite choice of drink while we sit here and get a little music in the building. What we want to do. What we want to do. What we want to do. Let me see what we want to do.
Marvin Gaye. Anything you want to do. She is so jazzy. 100% jazzy.
And just like that, we have a little music, and hopefully you had enough time to go get your favorite choice of drink. Let me tell y'all something. This is a year and a half now of being on my own. Okay, don't let me sing. Of the Sojazzie Home Girl media and podcast. This is a year and a half, and we are doing it real big. We're at another Christmas, having a good time here. For those of you that don't celebrate Christmas, I'm sorry. That's on you, but happy Hanukkah. Happy Kwanzaa, happy Yom Kippur, happy anything
that you celebrate
that brings you joy. Yeah. We give homage to our ancestors.
We do,
Ashe. And so we just welcome you to this holiday season. But what we wanted to do today was bring you a topic that a lot of times I think is missed. Right? I think it's missed.
Yep.
And so who I have in the studio with me today is none other than Esquire. Amadou Wiltshire of the Wiltshire
Law Offices of Wiltshire LLC.
You better say
Georgia.
You better say it. We wanted to bring in professionals, which I always try to bring in people who have the experience, who have the knowledge to give our guests, you guys, the correct information. And so this topic today is one that I thought was so important for multiple reasons, and we're going to cover that today. But the name of this show is The Law in Love. Let me say it one more time. The Law in Love.
I hear you on that.
Okay. And I wanted to just kind of read the write-up because it's cute. And I came up with it all by myself, me and AI. Me and AI came up with this. Well, I did really do most of it, but it just kind of like shifted it a little bit. It says, join us in the studio today as we explore the complex interplay. The AI did the interplay part. I did the complex part. The complex interplay between law and love. You may be curious, I did that part, about what it means. In short, it means that while being in love can be a profound emotional and spiritual experience, it often fails to prepare us for the legal complexities of marriage, property ownership, business ownership, divorce, death, LGBTQ laws, estates, probate, and more. Okay, that's the law side. These are critical areas where protection is essential. Join us, Amadou and I, as we learn how to protect yourself when love is involved, whether marriage or family or business or whatever it is. A lot of times we get into things, whether it's personal, whether it's business, whether it's marriage, whatever it is, we go in it without understanding that the law has to be present for protection. And many of us get married We're so in love. We're so happy. Oh my God, we go into business with our best friend. We've been friends for 45 years. We have the wheels. We have all of the things written out once we get married. And then all of a sudden, something shifts. Something changes. And then we walk away with nothing. We walk away with more hurt than whatever took place. We walk away confused, frustrated, because we thought that love was enough. We thought the friendship was enough. We thought the will was enough. And so I'm going to give way, because Amadou need to come on the floor and tell us what we need to do.
Yeah.
And this is just a preamble, because he's going to be coming on regularly to give us some legal advice. Now, when I say some, because he still got to get paid, I need y'all to stop playing. So if you want more in-depth representation, I'm going to need you to put him on a retainer.
Perfect.
Welcome to the show, my love.
Thanks a lot, Jazzie, and thanks a lot for having me here. And Jazzie, so you're speaking about the law in love, and I would speak about the law in life. Because love is life.
Yes, it is.
You understand? And everything we do it in life. Even death, we do it in life. And everyone needs to realize that the law is with you every step of the way.
Right.
If you get into business, one of the major things you have to have is a contract, which is an agreement. So too, if you get married, you sign on the dotted line. A lot of people don't realize that's also a contract. There you go. And the law has certain rules and regulations about contracts. Your marriage, while there is love and there is everything, it's an agreement for two people to be married. Now, what people need to remember is marriages can work, but sometimes people fall in love and they fall out of love.
Right.
And that's the reality of it.
Yes. Yes.
And one of the major ways you can, I hear people say all of the time, oh, my assets were premarital, my spouse cannot touch it.
He about to get into the dirty.
While that is the general rule, the nuances are this. If you have a premarital asset and your spouse contributes to the improvement of that asset, like your spouse renovates the house, or I see some people do a very brave thing, like take their name and take the spouse's name and add it to the deed after they get married and all of that. That leads to your spouse being entitled to a portion of the property. If there is a dissolution.
Did y'all hear that? Because now, mind you, we have a live studio that's also paying attention to this show. So if y'all hear the background, honey, we over here eating and enjoying ourselves in the conference. So they are paying attention to this show. So if you hear them in the background, honey, yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
You just said a thing. You just said a thing, a whole thing. Okay.
So if you ladies or gents have your house prior to marriage and your spouse paints the house and your spouse does the renovations on the house and begins to pay the light bill and whatever bill and the taxes and time creeps up, then you begin to go into a very gray area of, do they get a percentage upon dissolution of the marriage?
I did not know that.
Oh, yeah.
Where were you with all of my divorces? It is no secret that I have been called Baby Liz. It's no secret. Okay? Anyway.
And that's just how it is. Also, a lot of people think because their children, take, for example, if a party had children prior to the marriage, and they get married, even though the spouse does not adopt the child, if that spouse can show that they are the person that's taking care of that child, especially if the birth parent is delinquent or absent or something like that, you understand they can file, the spouse, who is not the biological parent, can actually file for custody of that child without adoption, because Georgia has something called the Equitable Caregivers Act, which allows, one moment, which allows someone who is other than the legal parent,
Mm-hmm.
if they're taking care of a child, especially the legal parent is absent, for them to file with the courts custody of the child, for custody of the child.
Wow.
A lot of people don't know that. I've gotten step parents custody of their children through that act.
What about grandparents? Because, a lot of grandparents are taking care of
step parents, people who they're not related to. As long as you can show and you have the proof that you have been the primary caretaker of that child, especially if the other parent has been absent.
Wow.
Yeah.
This is why you have to know the law. This is why you have to have an attorney.
Let me drop one other bombshell.
Wow.
A lot of men in the state of Georgia believe because they signed the birth certificate, they're given legal rights to the child.
Mm-hmm.
Negative.
What?
If a child is born out of wedlock,
Mm-hmm.
even if a man signs the birth certificate, that does not make him the legal father of the child.
I'm familiar with that just a little bit.
Let me just say this.
Yeah, my brother went through something.
He's going to be identified for child support. Oh, yes.
Mm-hmm.
But that doesn't mean that
he has full rights.
That doesn't mean he has any rights.
In Georgia.
Not even visitation.
What would make that not be something he could do?
He has to go through the process of something called legitimation,
mm-hmm.
where you get an attorney like me, 314-764-0888. Call me, retain me. Hey.
Say it one more time.
314-764-0888. The law offices of Wiltshire LLC.
Mm-hmm.
So, and you go through something called the process of legitimation,
mm-hmm.
where you petition the court for them to recognize you as the legal father.
Now, they also have to take the test, right? Don't they have to do
DNA testing? Yes. And everything is done.
Okay.
Now, some people need to also remember this. Not because you're the biological father means that you're the legal father. Because children who are born in a marriage
mm-hmm.
are automatically, by default, seen as being the legal child of the people in that marriage. So let's say party A is married to party B,
mm-hmm.
but goes and has a child with party C.
Mm-hmm.
Party A's husband, who is party B, is the legal father of that child.
Ooh, the law in love. The law and love. Y'all, see, this is why.
And for party C to get legal rights and that sort of thing, he, most likely party B, will have to surrender his parental
mm-hmm.
rights.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it can become intricate.
Wow.
So
does that also, is that the same in LGBT and same gender loving couples?
Yeah.
It's the same, right? Because when the laws were changed, when we were given the right to marry who we want to, because mm-hmm. that's our right and that's our business.
Mm-hmm.
So many people were in the process of trying to adopt, and then the laws hit again where people, just because you had the child with the partner that you were married to, you did not have full rights. So what is that looking like? Because now people that I know that have adopted children in same gender loving marriages, they have come up with opposition.
Now, I would say this. Each state might be different,
mm-hmm.
but I always encourage people to adopt, to
mm-hmm.
make sure that it's final on black and white.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The Equitable Caregivers Act is an option, but adopt, because then it becomes final, and that's that.
Mm-hmm.
And something else I want to talk about is termination of parental rights.
Mm-hmm.
It's something people don't like to speak about. And it's basically if a parent has abandoned the child,
mm-hmm.
the court can terminate the parental rights of that child if the parent
mm-hmm.
the parent has not had communication with the child, has not provided financial support for the child, has been neglectful, you know, there's been no contact for 12 months and all of that.
So
You
does
know,
it, before you go on, that's something I wanted to find out. Is there a certain amount of time that has to surpass for it to look as if a child has been abandoned?
I can't remember what it says in the statute, but I'm thinking, if my memory serves me correct, it's about 12 months.
Okay.
Right? So
we can correct that
right.
if it's not.
You know, and so the court can terminate parental rights like that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And that leaves a lot of children, because I have a friend of mine who just adopted. She thought she was a foster parent. And so they contacted her and said, hey, pretty much we know you've got a lot of kids, but we also know that you're still open for foster care. But we have a grandmother who has who has raised these grandchildren, because the mom has just not been a mom, and father have not been in a position that they should be. And so the grandmother has taken care of the children for all of these years, I think about 15 years or so, off and on. She's 87. Her health is going down. She cannot take care of a small child and a 15-year-old, right? And so they contacted her for the young child, who I think is 5 or 6.
So this is a family that's basically going to be split up.
And when she got to court, she didn't know anything about the teenager. She met him there. She went through all of the procedures, and she said, I don't want to foster. I'm in a position. Let me go ahead and adopt. Let's just go for it. And when she got there, both the kids were there, and he was getting ready to be heard for another case. And she said, wait a minute, what? And she ended up adopting both of them.
Wow.
The judge allowed it that day.
Wow.
Right.
Well, there were some happy endings. You know what I mean?
But the mother was there, cursing and going on, but you have not been present.
And there, because she was not present, I'm pretty sure her rights may have been terminated. You know, and if you're not present in your children's lives, your rights are just not, you know.
Gotcha.
Your rights can be terminated.
Wow.
Now, even if you are filing for petition for legitimation if the child is born out of wedlock, that petition can be opposed.
What would make that opposed?
If a lot of time has passed and the father made no attempt to be in the child's life, if a lot of time has passed and the father was abusive to the child, even in the child's life, you know what I mean? You know, if he's a menace to the child and that sort of thing, that, you know.
Well, that would be,
and it can be a myriad of factors that the court can take into account.
Right.
If the parent has been in prison for a long time, you know, you don't know anything about this child, you know, that sort of thing. That's the argument that's going to be made, you know. So, and then, you know, sometimes people believe they're the father, and then the DNA tests come back stating you're not the father.
Now, I know it's different from state to state, but I remember in North Carolina, I was there for a child support case. Because, baby, if you play, you going to pay. But
I cannot speak about North Carolina.
No, I know.
I can only speak about Georgia.
No, I know this. But what I was saying is it's different from state to state. So this question I'm going to ask you, is this the same thing here? So I had a friend that I went to high school with. Actually, the mother and the father met them in court doing my child support case many hundreds of years ago. And the girl had lied and said one of her children was in fact his. They had 2 children together, but one of them was not his. But he had believed that it was.
We ain't caught up yet, girl. We ain't caught up.
Okay. So.
We ain't caught up.
So he signed that he was the father.
Without a
and
DNA
then
test.
Find out, she's been cheating. So then he, he's gotten behind on child support because now he's found out that she had been cheating.
And mind you, let me just say this. Child support that is owed in Georgia has no statute of limitation.
I'm about to go for somebody. No.
So if it's owed, it's owed.
Yes. I love now that I did now.
If it's owed
Yeah.
until you terminate parental rights, and even what is owed prior to that is owed. Even if the kid reaches 100,
Shut up.
it's always owed. Always owed. Always owed.
So for those of you that have some old school child support, we might need to go way back. I'm just saying. And who we gonna hire to do that?
You're gonna call Amadou, because I'm gonna do what I gotta do. 314-764-0888.
I love it. Okay, so in this scenario, she lies. He stops paying child support for that child.
Still owed.
She takes him to court.
Still owed.
Does a DNA test, finds out he's not the father.
Still owed.
But because he signed the papers.
Still owed. He was the legal father.
There you go. This is why you have to know your laws. This is why we're doing this show, because so many things that we thought we knew, or so many things that we had no clue because we didn't go to school for law. That's not what we've done. And when we're Black and brown, let me just be honest, we don't retain attorneys for multiple reasons. One, we don't think we need it. We have not been taught that we should have an attorney. Can I dial my attorney? That's not something most Black and brown people do. And then there's the affordability, right? Of saying, I can't afford, if I call this attorney, he's going to charge me, she's going to charge me this amount of money.
But many law firms, including mine, we do lines of credit.
Hello.
Even if you have to go and take out a small loan and pay. There was a scenario where Party A found a certain law firm was charging too much. Party A was getting a divorce with about $500,000 worth of assets. Okay? Party A went to court without an attorney.
Big mistake.
Lost everything in the divorce. And then calls the law firm asking if they can fix it. While a divorce might have cost $20,000 if it's contested, it was better to pay $20,000 and save $500,000 than to save $20,000 and lose $500,000.
Yeah.
Always do a cost-based analysis. Is it worth my freedom? Is it worth my time? Is it worth the headache? Is it worth seeing my children? Is it worth my assets and my finances? Do those. And if it says, I'm going to save much more doing stuff this way, then get yourself an attorney. Don't ever go to court or in legal proceedings without an attorney. Because what might be a morsel full of dirt will turn into a mountain so fast.
Oh, yes. You. I said I've been there a few times. I lost everything every single time. And not because sometimes I couldn't afford an attorney because I've given all, right? I've always worked for myself. So if I don't work, I don't eat. Let me say that one more time. If I don't work, I don't eat. So if y'all not buying something, supporting something, and y'all meaning at large, those that I know and those that I don't know. But for the most part, the love part took over. I'll just, you know what? Forget it. I'll just start over.
No.
Forget it. I'll just start. You know what?
No,
Keep it. I'll just start
because
over.
Divorce can take away 100% of your assets.
Yes.
And you can only start over for so many different times.
Yes.
And protect your assets. Prenups are important.
Now, so I wanted to go there because, again, Black and brown. I happen to be a light-skinned brown Black girl.
I can't help with you today, okay?
I'm a light-skinned brown Black girl. With an ounce, about 5 ounces worth of vanilla. But anyway, hey, it is what it is.
Vanilla is black, remember.
We know that's a whole nother show. But so what we don't realize oftentimes is that prenups don't mean I don't love you. It has nothing to do with not loving you. It has everything to do with the fact that I love not only you, but I love myself and I love the things that I've worked for, right?
Yep.
So how do we open that conversation in we're getting ready to get married. I love you so much. You are the wonderful woman, man, person of my whole entire being. How do we introduce the prenup conversation?
Hi, how you doing? Listen, we need to talk about some stuff.
For real, I can't.
And as a matter of fact, guess what? If you don't want to talk about it, call me, retain me. I'll talk about it.
So, but when is that? When is that step?
Before you get married, anytime before you get married.
Okay. So we're all in love. You pop the question. We're showing the ring. Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god!
About 4 to 5 months before you get married.
So as we're planning the dress, the place, the thing. Hey, by the way, let's call Amadou.
As a matter of fact, this is how you do it. Before you pay down on the dress, the tuxedo, the shoes, the
stuff,
down payment for the place, as soon as you get engaged, let's talk about just call me. I will call you. I will contact your spouse or your intended to be spouse, and we will set up a time where they can come with their attorney, and I'm here and we have the discussion.
Do you think that's still something that should be, no, like all jokes aside,
speak about it very early in the relationship?
Should it be something that we say, like when we're dating, hey, I've never done it, or I have done it, or I've heard about it, and it's something that I want to discuss well before we get engaged.
Well before. But the latest point is as soon as you get engaged. But it is something that you should discuss going into a relationship. So
I have nothing. I don't have a business. I just work. You just work. Let's do some scenarios, right?
Okay.
We're just two hardworking people. We don't have.
This is why you still need a prenup.
We're in an apartment. We don't even own anything.
Understand that, but guess what you might have? Social Security, 401k, IRA. You might have children in the future. Because in prenups, you can also deal with the visitation and
the forthcoming
and who is going to have custody and primary custody and all of that.
So the prenup can also prepare you.
It's a contract.
Wow.
It's a contract. It's an agreement.
Okay, so
that's why they call it prenuptial agreement.
Can it be amended? Can it be a prenup? Can it be amended?
Yeah, if both parties agree.
Wow. Okay, so we own a business. You own your business. I own my business. And or we start a business together. We haven't gotten married yet, but these are things that we wanted to do. We started.
Well, the first thing when you start a business together, you're going to make sure that you have an operating agreement.
Gotcha.
Because then that deals with everything from who owns what, how dissolution is going to happen. It's going to deal with everything as pertaining to the type of accounting method we're going to use. Who has what say and where, why, or what, and how the company is going to run. So.
Let me tell you why I love this conversation.
Everything is in writing.
Let me tell you why I love this. Other than the obvious, right? You just said something that most of us, when we start our LLCs, when we start our corporations, we're doing the blind man's bluff. In other words, we're having somebody fill this out, quick little operation just to get us in business, just to get things set up. We don't ever really read the operation agreements.
Listen, it's one thing to read an operating agreement. How many people even understand what an operating agreement is supposed to be?
Right. Like you're making, now mind you, been in business a long time, done some things a whole lot right and a whole lot wrong.
Like every other business person.
Like a whole lot wrong.
Yeah.
But as I've gotten older and as I have lost so much and given up so much, right? And not always handled things the way the business should have been handled because of love.
You operated with emotion.
Yes.
And emotion will make you make some irrational decisions.
Yes, completely.
So when it comes to business, I think neck up, like Obatala.
Mm-hmm.
Neck up.
That's it. You better think with the head.
Yeah, you
This
deal
one.
neck up.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Because I remember I was dating someone once, and in the first week they were like, "Yeah, well, you should, we should be on this deed together."
How many days?
Child.
Not 7.
And I was like, "Oh, block,
Bye-bye.
block."
Yeah.
You know, so you have to think with your neck up. Love is a wonderful thing,
Mm-hmm.
and don't think I don't believe in love and all of that.
Yeah.
But you have to think of the worst case scenarios and the good scenarios also.
Yeah.
And that is just how it is.
Mm-hmm.
So prenups are important.
Right. And so when you got married, you didn't have one. We need to now do what?
A postnup.
I'm just trying to help us, y'all. Just trying to help us. So what would the postnup?
So that's basically
do?
That's an agreement after you've been married.
Mm-hmm.
It lays out everything. But guess what? How many people do you think are going to be doing a postnup?
Not many. Because now I'm in it. And now I done bought all of the stuff around the house. Uh-huh.
However, people need to remember this. Oh my God. Divorce and the separation of assets. It's done on something called the rules of equity.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So the court looks at your contributions.
Mm-hmm.
So if all of the money for the mortgage and the utilities came out of your account only, and you can show that, then you stand a great chance of keeping at least the majority of the assets.
Wow. You know what? That's something that I had to learn a few times over. I had given, and because I'm in love, I'm not thinking I need to keep receipts or pay attention to. So then it turns around, you haven't done anything, you haven't done this, you haven't done that.
My uncle said to me very young, A for apple, B for bat, C about yourself.
I almost sprayed him with this coffee. I'm telling you.
A for apple, B for bat, C about yourself. Nobody can seek your interest like you, not even the person that loves you.
That's true.
Remember this. You are operating from what you feel and how you want it to be.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know what's going on in that other person, even though they tell you, I love you,
mm-hmm.
I love you,
mm-hmm.
and they're showing you a good time. Everybody has an ulterior motive. Whether if it's to stay married, whether if it's to be happy, whether if it's to be here for 5 years and get as much as they can get and leave, everybody's objectives are always different.
And you would know because you do this all the time.
Yeah.
Like, this is not a Debbie Downer.
No, this is me being real.
This is being honest.
Yeah.
This is being protective,
mm-hmm.
right? And knowing your worth.
Yes.
No, listen, if y'all didn't learn anything from my entire life in the public, know your worth,
mm-hmm.
right? Know what you bring to the table. If somebody brings 90% and wants to be with you, your 10% is worth something.
Yep. Your 1% is worth something.
Your 1% is worth something.
Because that 1% might be the 1% to add on to the 99 to unlock the doors of wealth. So whatever you're bringing, it's worth something. Yeah.
When I tell y'all, I love this. This is so good. Okay. So we handled a little bit on divorce because, again, y'all got to pay this man. Now we just not going to give you all the goods. Okay. So we handled a little bit of divorce. We handled a little bit of marriage, prenup, postnup. Talked about the custody of the kids. We're happily married, or we're in business together. We got all of the things done that you just told us we need to do. Somebody dies.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Somebody major dies in our family. And part of our ownership was a part of what the person died, land, house, part of the business or whatever. They told us that when they die, we could do. They wrote it on a little scribbled piece of paper that wasn't notarized. And now we're coming to get it, but the whole family is like, I ain't never like you no way.
Well, the whole family will never like you no way.
That's true.
No matter how good you are to your in-laws. I mean, heck, brothers and sisters don't get along.
That's true. Very true.
Cousins don't get along.
Mm-hmm.
Who says your spouse family gonna like you?
Right. So what legally, what grounds?
Get a trust, get a will.
Prior to
Death.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Or you can have a will that says everything is to be thrown into a trust, and party X is to benefit and party Y is to benefit.
Do you do trust?
I know people who do trust.
Okay.
And the thing is this, even if you call our firm for any legal issue and we don't do it, we find an attorney who does it for you.
Meaning we can trust you.
Yeah.
I love that.
And this is an attorney, this has to be an attorney who I know that is experienced and ethical.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because all attorneys are not made equal.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I have lost big time. You got way more than I ever got. And not only did I lose the thing, but now I lost in hiring you because you didn't even know what you were doing. What? But you said you did, and I trusted the okay, anyway. I got some trauma issues. Okay, anyway.
Oh, Lordy.
Okay, so land trust and trust are different, right? It's a land trust and then it's another one.
Listen, you can get a living trust.
Living trust, that's the word I was talking about. Mm-hmm.
So, put everything in a trust.
Mm-hmm.
Your estate planning attorney will guide you on that. You know what I mean? One of the major things I would also tell people is this. If you and your spouse are paying the house together, then the deed should be on both of y'all's names if they're paying the bills together.
Mm-hmm.
And make sure on that deed it has the words with the rights of survivorship. Because if one party passes away, it immediately vests to the other party.
Mm-hmm. That's good.
And that's not just with your spouse. That's with your kids. That's with your brother
good.
and your sister. You understand what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's real good.
And it keeps it out of probate.
Right. That's what I was just getting ready to say, because what most people don't even understand what probate is. Somebody dies and you're just thinking, okay, they die, we have the funeral. First of all, you don't even know the steps to when somebody dies.
Mm-hmm.
I think, honestly, I need to have somebody on where we just talk about day one.
Listen,
when
day
somebody
one
dies.
they die, take their body to the morgue, get that death certificate. After the funeral, go down to the courthouse, see if they had a will. All people have a will. Please get a will and carry that will to the probate court for safekeeping. So even if your house,
know that.
Yeah, in the county where you live. So even if your house burned down and that will was destroyed, if you lost your will, it is always held by the court.
Wow.
So
that's good.
Your will, your trust, all of those different things.
Send Amadou a offering just for that.
And they will always have it. So even if there is probate, you go down there and they will check to see if there was a will. So then you file for your letters of administration. Sometimes you might have to do an accounting, you might have to post bond, but it'll get done. Probate can be tiring at times.
Yes. My goodness.
But it will get done.
Because there's nothing worse than when someone you love that you already have to deal with the pain of the loss.
Yeah.
But then to now have, for you to now have family member after family member, mama said, daddy said, honey said, whoever said, I could get da-da-da-da-da-da. You haven't even buried the people good.
And please know this, right? If you're married to someone in Georgia and you didn't have a will and that person has children, now because you're married to someone means that they get all of your property.
It goes to the children.
Because your children can come and request a portion of it.
That's right. That's right.
And even if you have a will,
What about for the business? Not just the house, but we
this
got a
is where I'm
business
going.
together.
Everything. It's a portion of your estate. And if you have uh what you call it? If you have a child who's under the age of 18,
Mm-hmm.
or a spouse, they can also apply for a petition for a year's support from the estate before it's closed.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I don't know. Should we have told the people all of this information? Some of y'all about to have your feelings hurt.
Yeah.
But we're really and truly, we're here to help you.
Yeah.
We're really here to help you because you need to know this. We need to know this.
Yeah.
Like now I'm sitting here going, okay, I got a lot to get together just for the protection of myself, my spouse, my children, my grandchildren.
Yep.
You know, and business.
Yeah.
Because I always thought, not now, but back in the day, I always thought, well, it's no need to do all of this because I don't have.
It don't matter.
Like it's not worth a whole lot.
Do you know an asset in marriage is also debt?
Yes. Yes. Now I did.
Debt that is accumulated during the marriage needs to be dealt with in divorce.
And death.
Yeah.
And probate.
And when I mean debt, I don't mean DEATH. I mean DEBT.
Okay. No. I got you.
Yeah. What is owed?
So we have a house together.
Mm-hmm.
And we have collectively accumulated $100,000 in debt.
And this is
credit cards.
And this is something we hopefully try to deal with in mediation. If you don't have a prenuptial agreement, or we have the judge deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
We deal with it in court.
Because I want the house. I'm getting the house. I got the kids and I want the house. But we got $100,000 in debt together.
Mm-hmm.
Because I married your debt. You married my debt.
No, your premarital debt is your debt.
See how I put that out there for you? Because I was going to say, is that really true? Because that's what people say.
Your premarital debt is like an asset.
Right. So back to we got it together.
Then that's when the drama takes place.
Right.
That's when.
So we got it together, but I'm mad, or you're mad, and you want the house, and you want this, and you want that. Most of the time, because I'm licensed in California, and so I have a real estate book called Divorce and Real Estate. And one of the things that I learned doing this course that I took was that very piece of information that you don't realize that, sweetheart, no, that house now becomes something that can pay off the debt. And the judge makes the decision whether you get to keep the house, whether you get to buy the other person out, pay off the debt, that no longer is just the house and one of you guys get it.
And one thing I would say this to the non-custodial parent, as long as there is a court order that gives you visitation for your child, the custodial parent cannot prevent you from being around your child unless if they have a court order. So they cannot stop you from visiting your child. They must adhere to the rules of the order, or we'll file a motion in contempt.
Yeah, I know a lot of people who do that. I've never thought that was fair. I don't care how angry I've gotten at a father.
It has nothing to do with the partner. Father. It's the kid.
I've never said, you know what, well, you can't come and see your child. You can't do this until you pay me. I've never
listen,
done that.
Even if you're behind with child support.
Yeah, I've never done
Go
that.
with the police and go with the order. Go get your kid.
Which I think is sad because and this happens way more from women to men than men to women. Not that men don't do it too. They do, but it happens way more for women to men. Well, no, you owe me child support, so you're not going to see your child. That does a disservice to the child. That does such a I remember one time my ex, one of them, I'm not going to tell you which one, but one of them Praise God. I try to protect these people who've been horrible to me.
Jesus.
But anyway, I remember they came to town with their then wife
Mm-hmm.
and their dog, and they wanted to visit our son.
Mm-hmm.
And owed roughly about 20,000 in child support. We were in court, back and forth, back and forth. Do you know, I said, come and get your child. They wanted to go somewhere, but they couldn't take the dog. I said, leave the dog. I'll take care of the dog. We were due to go to court Monday.
Mm-hmm.
This was Friday.
Mm-hmm.
I said, leave the dog. I'll take care of the dog. Take your son. Y'all have a wonderful weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Wonderful.
But Monday we're gonna see about reality.
Baby, Monday we were right in court.
Mm-hmm.
But I did not use that opportunity for my son not to spend time with his father and his wife.
Let me just say this. If a father who is not legitimized has been reaching out to his child's mother to try to get to see the child, no matter how many years it is that he's been reaching out, and she's preventing him from seeing the child, that is a great grounds
for her to lose custody.
Not for her to lose custody, but even if we file a petition for legitimation and she opposes it, then we begin to pull out receipts.
Right. Here's
that
this
he
phone
tried
Here's this
to reach
email.
out. He tried, and she prevented it.
Mm-hmm.
So it weakens her case all the time to prevent him from being legitimized. Know your rights before the law. Give us a call, 314-764-0888. In the state of Georgia is where we practice alone.
Listen, y'all. We gonna end right here. It's so much more. It's so much more. So we want to have him back on. So we're not gonna do like a 3-hour show.
Mm-hmm.
And we're not gonna do a free show. So, and what I mean by that is a workman is worthy of his hire, right? If he's already dropped some gems for me, and I've been through some stuff, and I'm like, dang, I didn't even know that. So knowledge is power. So what we want to do, can we put you on layaway? Like even before we,
you can put me on retainer.
Even before we have a problem, we need to just go on be dropping some money in every month.
I ain't cheap, but I'm worth it.
Cheap things usually are not worth it, and that's where we go into the problem. So schedule some time. If 1 or 2 or 3 or all of these things is something that you find yourself in, give him a call.
Yeah.
Right? Have the consultation at least so you can know, hey, this is what this would cost. This might be where you need to start, where you're thinking you need to start somewhere else. At least have the conversation. It's best for you to be preventative than the cure. Long before you get to the problem.
Yep.
Let's prevent the problem from ever happening. And then you won't be in this torture.
And let me just say one thing. Let me drop a little bombshell here.
Come on, because I got coffee still.
If your spouse ever cheats on you in the state of Georgia, and that's what destroyed your marriage, that infidelity, that spouse cannot come after you for alimony, because infidelity is a bar to alimony in the state of Georgia. Keep them receipts.
Did y'all hear that?
Keep them receipts.
Did anybody hear that? I'm just...
And
does he need to repeat it? Because
314-764-0888. In the state of Georgia only we practice.
And y'all know, it used to be, I think they finally took it off the books, but it used to be illegal. Like you could literally go to jail for cheating. That's an old law in most states.
You can go to jail for abandonment in the state of Georgia if you don't take care of your family.
When I tell y'all I love knowledge, I love me a little bit of knowledge. Guys, thank you so much for joining us today, because this has been so fun. It has been fun, but it has also been so impactful. And in order for us to grow, and most of you guys saw my post, and if you didn't, my new salutation is not how are you doing, but how are you growing? How are you growing today?
Oh, we growing.
Baby, I just
We
grew.
growing.
I feel at least an inch taller.
We growing.
With this knowledge.
We are definitely growing.
And every day we should be doing something. We should be, gravitating towards something that causes us to grow just a little bit more every day. And sometimes we have to reach deep down into the pinky toe to find that growth when we're challenged. When life is doing the whole life.
Because life can be life. And even if life to make you life.
I heard something on this show that said the person had lost their spouse. They died. And they were, of course, devastated and trying to recoup. They couldn't get it together. They couldn't work. They had to go on a sabbatical. And the question was posed from them to a person in leadership. And she said, how am I going to make it? How am I going to live through this? And she said, one of the most powerful things I have ever heard. She said, live until you become alive again.
I read a quote today where it said, success is not a destination. Failure is not a death sentence, but it's the will to carry on that makes you a champion. And I was like, wow.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Very similar.
Yeah.
Until you there is one day you will wake up and go, I'm happy.
Yeah.
I feel good.
Yeah.
I did that. But if you don't live every day, if you don't step over the failure, I saw this image the other day, and it had one person that had about 12 books that said failure. And they said the non-successful person does this. And he was carrying the 12 books that said failure. But the successful person had the same 12 books of failure, but stacked them where they made a staircase to get to where success. They wanted to go for success.
Yep.
Same failure, same problems, same challenges, different perception and different drive. So I'm challenging you today to take the information that we have just gotten from this amazing attorney, right? Who at some point he'll come back on and share his journey to where he is now. You're seeing if you're watching this, because some of you will just hear it, but if you're seeing this, what you're seeing before you, or even if you're hearing this, what you're hearing right now is the overcomer.
Yeah.
That's what you're seeing. That's what you're hearing.
Yeah.
But what you have not seen is the 12 books of failure. The staircase to get to this point.
And if I was to live life over again, I wasn't changing a darn thing.
Because it took that to get here.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So again, thank you guys, because you could have chose any other podcast to be on. You could have chose any other opportunity in this particular moment, but you chose to be here with little old me and Mr. Amadu Wiltshire and to hear us and to just glean some information that hopefully will take you not all the way, because you need an attorney to do that, but at least it will take you to his doorstep and it will take you to the phone number. Say it one more time.
314-764-0888.
Make that call. If you would love to be a guest on the show, please let me know. We're always open to have people's voices be heard, and the opportunity for growth is why we do what we do here. Production is on the site, not today because they're out for the holidays, but I finally got a production team. I'm so blessed. I feel so honored to share time with you and have you share back. Now, what I do need y'all to do, I do need y'all to upgrade on these downloads so we can go on and get this monetization going from our big sponsors. We do have a few sponsors. I do always want to say RBM of Alpharetta, Mercedes-Benz. Christy Spooner is one of my biggest, best supporting
Thank you
sponsors.
to them.
Thank you, thank you, thank you for always being here and always being present. So anyway, I got some honey with the Queen Bee's Lane. I'm gonna need y'all to buy a jar because what is most delish? And I also have the Sojazzie Girl Chemistry Parfum Collection ready and waiting. So you see the Christmas tree back here. We have a whole lot of goodies. Give us a call, 951-414-0481. And or you can go on SojazzieHomeGirl.com. Jazzie is Jazzie, not to be confused with a Y. So you can go on SojazzieHomeGirl.com. You can place your orders there, and or we can schedule a pop-up event. And baby, they are posh.
They are very uppity.
Aren't they?
Very uppity.
Amadou and I also will be doing some future collaborations on our events. Y'all stay tuned. We got a lot coming up for 2025, but we wanted to, kind of ease out of 2024 with good information so that when we're coming into our new year, we're coming into a new consciousness.
Excellent.
Whether it is attorney, legal representation, or whether it's an event or whatever it is, we just always want to grow up and glow up. I love you guys. Take care. See you next time. Bye.